What up, though? What's good? It's poppin'. Talk to me, everybody. What's flooding your timelines today? We're gonna call a spade a spade. What's flooding your timelines today? Everybody talking about damn, Angel. I was getting ready to call the girl Angela like like Wallow was calling her. Um, yeah, what y'all feel about the girls basketball, the women's basketball team, LSU versus Iowa? The big controversy, which I'm gonna talk about that for a second, but I want to talk about something else too. Big controversy about her doing what is this, Cena from wrestling, but Yayo made it famous doing the Yayo "You Can't See Me." What I seen, I'm gonna say one thing that I seen, which was crazy, which is just to try to say racism is not around is just crazy. Are we dealing with it? Are we still living through it? Yeah, but to just try to act like it's just not here is just plain. I mean, like, white and black, you just gotta fucking admit, like, come on, man. It's just crazy. No way to not admit it. It's a Sports Center. I don't know if he still does Sports Center, but it's either former or a Sports Center announcer that works for Sports Center. Mind you, Sports Center, I keep reiterating that because that's centering around sports. He gets on Twitter and he posts what he said, either what a classless idiot, or what an idiot, or he either called her classless or called her an idiot. I don't want to. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember what one of those two words were used. Can't remember which one right now, so I don't want to direct quote it. But one of those two words were used. So Shaq says, "Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about," or "Shut up." Shaq says something like, "Shut up, leave her alone." Something to that effect. And again, that's an indirect quote, but he says something like, "Shut up, leave her alone," blah blah blah. So now here's where it gets funny. Here's where I said racism, for somebody to act like racism is not around, it just doesn't make sense. Again, I'm not saying that it's like as bad as it was, but I'm just saying, just listen to this. So the guy is a white guy, Keith O'Blerton, I think is his name. So he says, "Yeah, what a classless idiot," or again, something to that phrase. And then when Shaq tells him to shut up, and he says, "Yo, she did the same thing." The guy who's the Sports Center announcer then rebuttals with, "Oh, I'd never watched women's basketball, so I didn't know." Either way, it was immature on both their end. So here's the big thing for me. It went from "she's an idiot" to both. No, excuse me. He said they were wrong, not immature. He said they were both wrong. So it went from the first girl was a classless idiot, to when he found out both of them did it, to now all of a sudden they're both wrong. Why wasn't the other girl an idiot? You know what I'm saying? That would have been his perfect time for him to make sure to make it even grounds with his stupidity. But at least it would have been even if he would have called them both, out of their names. But as soon as he found out that Caitlyn, didn't, he immediately said they just were wrong. So that to me is like, yo, that's crazy. Like, because I don't understand why how could you not acknowledge some kind of racism if 1 minute they're classless idiots when one person does it, then when you all of a sudden it's just they become wrong. That to me is just, if we can't figure out how to work around that, that's crazy. Like, I mean, again, that's just the hat. That was the only reason that was so interesting to me, is because this guy actually worked with sports. I understand regular, not even that I condone it, but I understand regular Joe Schmoes, on the internet just tweeting dumb stuff. and saying ignorant stuff. But when you work for sports and you say, oh, I don't watch women's basketball, that's one. Even if you don't, just remain silent. Don't open your mouth and remove all doubt. So, but, you know, even if you don't, which is kind of crazy that you have no knowledge and you've been in the sport game 30-something years, but why would somebody be a classless idiot when you seen them do something, but when we reveal they both did it, all of a sudden they're just wrong? That's just blatant right there. I mean, nothing else you can say about that. You know, but I'm not gonna run that subject in the hole. Everybody been in that subject. Obviously, with the president's wife, Jill Biden, asking for both of them to come is insane. That's insane. Like, huh? Where they do that at? When have they ever brung the loser up? Ever. It don't happen. There's no reason to start that now. Now, I don't know if that could be some kind of women's movement that they're gonna try to play that on. I support it if so. If all the women are in support of just doing that every year, if that's the case, why not bring the Final Four up there? You know, when is that going to stop? You know, the reason we don't put we don't keep Trump in the in the office with y'all as the second runner up, right? We don't do that. So that, I don't know why she even thought that. That's the kind of the racism when I'm speaking of. Like, it's hard to try to see that you don't see that. It's hard to not see that. Why would you ask for both of them to come? Why would you make that national news that we think that both teams should come? You know, would you have felt that way if Dawn Staley played LSU? That's a great question to ask. You know, it never came up before. I don't understand it. But I think majority of my timeline, including myself, as far as the narrative of the girls or too much, or they did too much stuff, I think we all in agreement that's pretty ignorant to say, especially when just the week before, Caitlyn was embarrassing Dawn and them, and as rightfully so, they was beating them up. You know, in sports, you get the chance to gloat a little bit when you win. It's not just win. You don't have to all be Tim Duncan, just win and go home. No, that don't get you. It don't make it no different if you win and go home or you win and talk a little smack. It's all good as long as you win it. Now, losing and talking smack is totally different. But winning, it is what it is. Yeah, but the real reason I came on here, because going through my timeline, I'm looking at the news. I got a lot of news stuff on my timeline, and it's like, and this is a repeat thing that I keep seeing as far as kids and teachers. Kids and teachers, man, it's getting outrageous. Like, I remember being, and that's why you always got to sit back and start thinking about where you was at. So I remember being a kid and it being to a point where you was like, you know, when I was a kid, they still could paddle you. You know, you went to a school, you was bad enough, they could still smack you in your hand. But, you know, I'm glad that went away, because I don't think they should do that. Not that I even felt any kind of way about it, but I don't think they should be able to do that. But when these kids are acting a fool, I'm talking about, like, we just acting crazy, and then parents get mad when you say something about your kids. Like, man, y'all got to let that go. I think they should have cameras. I don't know if they do or don't, but I think they should definitely have cameras in all the classrooms. I don't know what the privacy. Why would parents vote for that option of privacy? Sign me up. You want to see me vote? Sign me up for cameras in classrooms. Because I don't understand why we do not have cameras in classrooms. What is it that we trying to hide that we can't see? We shouldn't be able to see them the same way like a Nest. Same way you can watch your house. You should be able to tap in and see how bad your damn kid is being, and what the teachers got to put up with, or if your kid is skipping school. Why is that not a thing? I'm pretty sure if there's a reason. I don't know the reason. I'm sure there is. I mean, somebody patch in and tell me, why don't we have cameras in school? Makes the most sense. It makes the most sense that we gotta monitor these little bad motherfuckers. And I'm saying that loosely. I don't mean everybody's kid is bad. I mean, it's fair to say everybody's kid is a little bit mischievous and it may not follow every direct rule, especially when you don't know every rule that's laid out. But, you know, why don't we have cameras in classrooms? Why can't we look and see what our kids is doing during the day? We ain't got to listen to it. I'm cool with that. You can see if your kid is acting crazy. You can watch that and be monitoring, and when they get home, you can be on their ass. You got the truth. Somebody help me out with that. Why don't we? I mean, and I bring that up because on the news, somebody got fired for saying, cursing the kid out or something, but then the video showed up with the kid acting crazy. I'm like, hold on. Man, if your kid, and this, we ain't talking about like 5, we talking about, I think the kid was like 12 or something like that. You know, of course I'm not saying grown, but 12, and you screaming, cursing, jumping up and down on a table. Man, listen, God bless teachers. I really appreciate it. I don't know how the school system pays them so little to deal with the kid, and the school system has kids. I mean, I don't understand it. But cameras in school, since you're not paying the teachers, at least you could do is put that in there so we can see what's going on. You ain't got to have them in the hallways. You ain't got to have them in the bathrooms. Have them in classrooms. So whenever these kids show up in their class, the teacher can see it. The parents can see it. They can chime in. You know, I don't understand. You know, why would we not? I still say this over and over again. Why would we not want cameras in the class? Like, it's the easiest thing to find out whose kid is the bad kid, whose little badass kid we got to get out of this class, whose parent needs to be paying attention more because you got it right there on camera. Like, I don't know how we start that memo up, but I think it's a definite memo because, you know, these bad kids is fucking screaming at kids and the teachers. What, you know, if the kids start to fight back, then what? Now you got parents coming up there. It's just a whole thing. Why don't we just, there's got to be a logical reason. I don't know the answer, but somebody got to know why we don't have it. But we got to we got to do that, in my opinion. If not, we lost out here with these damn kids. We lost out here with these damn teachers because we just listening to everybody's opinion, and it ain't really making no real sense. So, yeah, man, you know, that's where I'm at with it, trying to figure those two. Those are my 2 topics of the day. The basketball girls. Obviously, that's a slam dunk. That's why I really wasn't going to talk about that. I think everybody kind of felt the same way, either on one side of the fence or the other. I don't even understand the side of the fence of saying that those girls did something that was unsportsmanlike. What did they do that every sportsman doesn't do? I don't even understand how that can't. Why was that something that, for the most part, you know, Caucasian Twitter, I guess, to be politically correct, they had the most. Which, you know, now what I will say is this too, just to come to their rescue. When you're a fan, you do get pissed when your team lost. You do start saying shit, and they got the right to do that. You know, they do have the right to do that. I think they were using a little bit touchy words, and that's what kind of did it. But, you know, now that I think about it, you know, when when South Carolina lost, if you would have seen people from South Carolina talking about them, it was way worse. And this is the South Carolina people talking about the South Carolina team. So I will say, when your team loses, everybody does have immediately somebody gonna be upset. I will agree with that. I do think that people will have I do think people will say some wild shit because they don't think that they're gonna really actually. I don't think they're gonna really think they're actually going to feel like the person's going to hear it. But see, with social media nowadays, you really, everything at some point, if you're making a loud enough noise, that celebrity is going to hear, or maybe not celebrity, but that person of influence may hear it. And I just think that, you know, I don't think that what they were saying is new. I think the stuff that they have been saying about, you know, the winners, if the winners didn't look like them, I think they've been saying that kind of stuff for a long time. I think now we got Twitter and stuff like that. We just amplified it. But, you know, now that I'm thinking about that and saying it out loud, I do think that they got a right to be pissed off that their team lost. You know, the fans, I'm saying the fans are going to say everything. When people lost, can you imagine Yep, feelings gonna be hurt. You're right. I mean, exactly. Think about this, John. Imagine what Salt Lake City, Utah fans was saying about Jordan every year he was whooping their ass. You feel what I'm saying? That's what made me just think, like, hold up, like, hold on. The fans really can say whatever the fuck they want. And I'm pretty sure they were saying all type of shit. I mean, it's in the newspaper, it's in articles. You can see all the shit they were saying about Pippen, Jordan, all of them when they were getting beat. Because when you get beat as a fan, you become a little, you become sore, you become sensitive about it when your favorite team. I've seen people lose that are really good, and still somebody will say something like, "Oh, they ain't shit anyway." It's like, yo, what you mean they ain't shit? They the best thing out here. Like, for example, Kansas City Chiefs, when they won, Eagle fans, oh, they ain't shit. They could have did this. Like, yo, they did good. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Knicks, you joined the Celtics. Right, exactly. That was my point. So now that I said it out loud, again, I do think some of the stuff that some of the people saying, "What up, boy? What's poppin', baby? You all right?" Yes, sir. So I think some of the things that people were saying was a little crossing the line, but I do like I said, Keith Olbermann. He was an announcer for Sports Center. For him to say, yo, I don't watch women basketball. See, my thing with his, because you just got here, my thing with his line was, he was like, yo, he either called her an idiot or classless. I can't remember the exact line, and I don't want to quote it, but it was one of those words. But he said and then Shaq told him to shut up. Shaq showed him that the girl did it first. So Keith says, Keith is the sports announcer for for Sports Center. Keith says, yo, I don't watch women's basketball. So I didn't know either one of them did that. They were both wrong. My thing was like, how come they only wrong when you found out both of them did it? But when Angel did it, she was an idiot. That was kind of whack to me. You know what I mean? But, as a fan, I think fans can say, I ain't gonna say can say whatever they want, but have been saying whatever they want for a long time, and I think they can get away with it. So as a fan, if somebody was mad that their team lost, I don't think I'm gonna hold them to the wire as much, because it is what it is with the fan. They just talking. But yeah, I agree. Like, you got to think about all the greats that got that beat, all the second best people. There's a lot of people that were second best by 1 second, by 1 point. Second best in the world by 1 point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking about all the people in the 90s in Utah and Seattle and them all white towns when Jordan was coming through and demolishing them. And I'm sure if there was a Twitter back then, they would have been saying, "Oh, Jordan ain't shit for sticking out his tongue." You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they would have been going. That would have been the same narrative if there would have been a Twitter back then. And there was a Twitter. There was a newspaper. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. It's just trash talking, but it is a line that you cross with certain people. Right, that was my thing. Like, Keith Olbermann, I'm like, dog, you do commentating. Like, why would you say that as a commentator? That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, you sound stupid by saying you don't know, you don't watch basketball. That to me was just the crazy part. Like, why would you even come on and say that? You should have just kept quiet. Either Shaq embarrassed you or you felt hurt in some kind of way, but whatever it was, you should have just stayed quiet. I mean, again, as a fan, a Twitter fan, I get it. I know Twitter fans, we all fans. I've said, me, you, both, everybody that's on here have said stuff about players that pissed us off when they beat our when they beat our team, our favorite players. It's happened. For sure, I've talked about Braun. I've talked about greats because I've talked about Paul Pierce, KG. They beat Kobe, Dirk. Anybody that's beat one of my favorites, I've talked about. I've talked about it in a nasty way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't, and I'm a fan, and I like those brothers, you know what I'm saying? So I like them to this day, You know what though? This is kind of my first year kind of tuning in. I don't know that though. I don't know that to say that all entirely It's a whole lot of college ball that's terrible. College women ball. You think about all these small schools now. Maybe you talking about when it gets down to Final Fours and Elite Eights, but man, you try to watch some of these daggone slow teams in women's college, man. It's a long day, buddy. Long day. You know what I'm saying? I respect it and I do watch them, but I'm just saying it's not as intense when it's not as intense when it's the Final Four. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't think anyway. In the WNBA, it's not as many games either, so it's kind of more intense, and it's not that many teams. There's like 10 WNBA teams, I think, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, tournament. I agree with that. Tournament too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this last 2-3 years I got in college ball a lot more than I used to be, but I do think that college tournament does intensify. It's like a summer tournament, summer league tournament gets intensified. Everybody really playing their best game. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, I came on here real briefly. I was talking about the two things I was talking about with the Caitlyn and the Angels, especially how ignorant it sounded for Jill Biden to say, "Yo, let's bring the second best team up here too." Like that's crazy. Like we don't do that. When they ever do that? Definitely don't think she was going to do that if South Carolina and LSU end up going. I doubt she would have did that. So why do that now? That's just blatant racism that you're trying to erase the lines. Why you want to erase the lines on second place and first place? That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the case, why even have a second and first place? Why don't just let them shoot and just keep shooting? And when time is out, time is out. There's a reason why it's the first and second place. So I don't agree with that, Miss Biden. That doesn't make sense to me. And what you try to do is soften a blow so America don't hit them too hard, which is whack. America been hitting all them other girls the same way, even harder, to be honest with you. Pause. But and the other thing that I was saying before I get out of here, we was talking about cameras in classes, because we getting sick and tired of these kids showing their ass to these parents. Showing their ass to these teachers, and they ain't got nothing to stand on. There's 30 kids on one teacher, and every parent want to be mad at the teacher. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Some of us got to check our kids. We all of us. I ain't telling nobody, including myself. If it's your child, it's time to check them, man. But I do think that cameras in these damn classrooms. I don't know. Does anybody know why there's not cameras in classrooms? I think cameras in classrooms would eliminate shit. If we could do it like like you do your Ring or Nest, whatever it is you got. Like same way you can check your living room, same way you can check your front door. Why can't they put one in the classroom and we can check these damn kids periodically to make sure the shit that they come home and telling us is the truth? I don't know. Talk to me, man, in the comments. Let me know, man. Peace.